Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be looking at my favorite handhelds halfway through 2023. But that doesn't mean it was released in 2023. You could say there's a triforce of handhelds that I currently use, and we'll talk about them. One of them we're going to ignore for most of the video, and I'll get into the reasons why. The way that we're going to do this video is I'm going to jump into each handheld, the way that I use them, how I go about my day-to-day with it, and just share with you why I think it might be the best for whatever segment I'm going to talk about. I'll also bring up any alternatives that might match what I like and what I'm using, so give you some options, and in this video you're going to get a lot of different handhelds that we'll talk about. If you followed this channel for any amount of time, you probably have a very good idea of the handhelds that I like, and so let's just jump right in. Also, let's get this one out of the way now. The Nintendo Switch isn't making an appearance here, and will be the ignored one. I love my OLED screen and I love Switch games, but I think it's sort of a given that in the handheld market, that if you want to play Switch games, you get a Switch. And while the Android side of the Switch is doing fantastic things for retro gaming like I showed in my other video, it's not going to be on today's list, even though I do use my Switch quite a bit. Lastly, there will be links to all the devices that I talk about today in the description, just in case you need them. I don't know if ultra portable is the right definition for what I'm going to be talking about, but my definition of ultra portable is just a device that I can bring anywhere in any situation and just keep it on me at all times. Can I put it in my pants pocket? Can I put it in my sling bag? Can I just bring it out with me anywhere in any situation? Is it small? Is it portable? That's the sort of thing that I think of when I talk about an ultra portable device. And so for me, it's going to be the Anbernic RG35XX. I absolutely love this device for just being able to bring with me anywhere I want. I never leave my house without it. It's always in my sling bag and ready to be brought out at a moment's notice. Wife needs to jump into a store for something, grab the device and start playing. No longer will I complain about her going into Bath & Body Works at the mall when I have my RG35XX with me. Go right ahead, take your time. I'm going to sit with the other middle-aged men waiting for their wives, except I have a device with me that can play up to and including PlayStation 1. These are real use cases for me, and exactly where I use it and when I use it when I go out. I've seen comments about people scared to bring out devices in public like this, whether it's an Anbernic device, a Miu device, even sometimes Steam Deck or ROG Ally. And especially as a grown man like I am, I have this to say: no one cares. In fact, if I see you playing with an RG35XX in public, a Miu, a Retroid, whatever it is, we're going to be friends. I'm going to come up to you, we're going to talk about it, because you don't see that a lot and it's awesome when you do. Be comfortable out there. Play whatever you want. Alright, small rant over, but the RG35XX for me fits that niche of being able to be brought anywhere, and from a platform's perspective, I actually only use it for Game Boys, NES, SNES. I don't actually use it for PlayStation 1 that much, as it'll go mostly into the next device I'll talk about. But you absolutely can if you want to. I think it's pretty much compatible with most of the PlayStation 1 library as it is. The 35XX just fits that perfect price to value point with everything that it can do, and anywhere that it wants to do it. It's running Linux for those that want it, and it has a great custom firmware in Garlic OS to support it. Now, I promised alternatives to every device I'm going to talk about today, and so the alternative to the 35XX is the Miu Mini Plus. And I'm not going to go too much into the differences today. I have a whole video dedicated to that topic, so you can check that out. But if you're looking for an alternative to the 35XX for whatever reason, then the Miu is a great option as well. If you're looking for a Game Boy form factor device just to bring around with you like I do, pick up either of these. But you might want to hold off, as there's been rumors for a bit now about a 35XX version with Wi-Fi and some other upgrades. If you want to start doing Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and more, and perfectly, we get into my next device. I'm just making up titles at this point, and a power portable to me is a device that's got a lot of power in it and is still something that I can bring around with me portably. And for me, that's going to be the Anbernic RG405M. Funny enough, it shares similarities with my 35XX in that it fits in my sling bag, and I do and did bring it around with me quite a bit as well. The 405M's form factor is the main reason I purchased one, ignoring my love for the Skittles colored buttons. To me, the 405M is the jack of all trades, master of none. With a horizontal form factor this time compared to the 35XX, it's still on the small side and, in my mind, extremely portable. But where the 405M shines is its ergonomics, comfortability, and just awesome ability to play a ton of retro games across many systems. I've done tons of videos on this device and what it can do, which has only since gotten better thanks to Gamma OS. But look, it can play everything the 35XX can, plus PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and PSP all perfectly. Then, as a bonus, it can do some of the libraries of PlayStation 2, GameCube, Wii, and Nintendo Switch. And now with Gamma OS fixing the triggers for native Android games, you can even play those properly. With Android as an operating system and Digisho as a front-end launcher, it's just a beautiful device to play on and use. For my uses though, I actually only stick to PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 and some Dreamcast. I find it to work perfectly for those systems for me, especially considering my next device covers the rest. But if you wanted, the 405M could be your one and done system for almost all your retro gaming needs, along with its alternative. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is the only device that I currently don't own. I just sold my Steam Deck earlier today, and so I'm waiting for the metal version of the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus to arrive because I really love that blue color. I just couldn't resist the blue. From the pictures I've seen and my love of blue colored things, as you can tell by my logo, it has the potential to be the best designed device to date. I can't wait for it to arrive, and it doesn't even need to turn on, just look pretty. Before this, my favorite Frankenstein device would have been if Ambernick used that blue from the RG353M and the skittled colors buttons from the 405M on a 405M. But after seeing this Retroid Pocket 3 Plus metal version, I want that all day long with the skittle buttons. I fully expect to see every reviewer and manufacturer to start categorizing their devices in portable, power portable, and now beast portable. It just makes sense. But beast portable to me means a device that can do anything and everything, but it might not just be in a portable or small form factor. So something that you're likely not going to be bringing out just in your bag. You probably need a backpack or something along those lines. And so let's start this category differently. Up until a week ago, I would have said that the Steam Deck was my one and done device. It did everything perfectly, and it does a whole whack of retro gaming. I sold it earlier today, as I mentioned earlier, and so let's talk about that. At this point, every single person knows what the Steam Deck can do and can't do, so I'm not going to get into it. But I exclusively used Windows on my Steam Deck and was able to run anything that I wanted. I was playing Xbox 360 games with Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, Wii games with Super Mario Galaxy, original Xbox, PlayStation 3, and a whole bunch of PC games. So yeah, the Steam Deck was my number one choice until the ROG Ally arrived. Look, I get it, the device just came out, how could it be my favorite in such a short amount of time? And if you'll notice, I actually haven't done an unboxing video or a review video or anything of that sort yet. I wanted some time to actually use the device and get used to it and see if I liked it more. So recency bias, honeymoon phase, Asus sent me the device for free so I have to say nice things. I wish they don't even know I exist and wouldn't even send me a sticker. The thing with the Asus ROG Ally is I knew what I was getting into. I was already running Windows on my Steam Deck and I had everything set up already. And I've been using Windows for my entire life. I know the ins and outs. So it was only a question of if the Ally would improve upon what I was already doing with the deck in a meaningful way. And it was safe to say from the first hour that the answer was yes. One of my major complaints about the Steam Deck was the screen. I hated it. I didn't find it good at all, and it was a major issue as I'm surrounded by OLED TVs, a Switch OLED, a Samsung S23 Ultra phone, and just devices with great screens in general for more modern games and consoles. The Ally screen solved that problem for me, and it was even in setup. I hadn't even gotten to the desktop yet. Not even talking about the 120 Hz or the variable refresh rate, it's just a great screen to look at and use. Adding those two things in and it's not even close. After that, both devices basically function the same minus the extra power of the ROG Ally with its turbo mode and going above 15 watts. And now we're going to talk about my use case, and it's basically my couch device. I sit down, grab it, start playing, and I'm always connected to a power source. I don't have to take away the TV from my wife and she can watch that. It's perfect for that use case. I don't take it out as much, and if I were to go on a trip or airplane or something along those lines, I probably would bring it with me, but that isn't my day-to-day with it. And if it was your day-to-day, you'd probably want something with a lot better battery life. But for my uses and what I'm doing with it, it's been absolutely perfect. The Ally is a catch-all. It's the one device that does everything. Any retro game, any program, anything I want. It's a mobile Windows computer, and I've honestly been using it like it is. There's nothing wrong with the Steam Deck as an alternative, but Linux has never been my choice of operating system, and there isn't anything the Deck does better than the Ally that matters to me. So let's do a quick recap here. The Switch is obviously my choice for any Switch games. The OLED screen is amazing, and while Ryujinx and Yuzu are great emulators, they just aren't there yet. There's enough jank in them that I prefer just using the original hardware when it comes to Switch games. Next up is the RG35XX that covers my portable needs. Bring it anywhere, put it in my pocket, put it in my sling bag, and also saves me in emergencies where my wife needs to go shopping. So this is the perfect just bring it with you and go device. Moving on up into the entry-level 3D device, and that's my Anbernic RG405M, which, like I said before, covers my needs for both PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, as well as some Dreamcast. You could obviously skip this if you wanted to and do everything on the ROG Ally or the Steam Deck, but I like having this form factor because it is something that's portable as well, and I can bring it with me as much as I do the 35XX. Lastly, the one and done device, the Beast Portable, the Asus ROG Ally. I could replace my entire collection with just this one device if I wanted to. Now, being a handheld collector, I'm definitely not going to do that. But if I was somebody that was price conscious and wanted one single device to do everything, you can't go wrong with the ROG Ally. Hope this video was useful to you. I'd love to know what devices you're currently running, if it's multiple or single, how you're dividing them up. Is it similar to what I'm doing, or are you doing a different sort of scenario? Leave a comment, share it, love to know more, and maybe it might inspire some others like myself. If you liked today's video, check out my other videos. I have at least one video on each of the devices that I talked about today, and so you might find something useful to you in some of those videos. It's a nice rabbit hole to go down, and I'll put some of them on screen. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow, and hope you all have a good one.